Greetings! I am Tantus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It's time to talk about bringing some anime from the 2016 spring season into your BESM games and using them in your BESM worlds. I just talked about them, I reviewed them a second ago. Now I'm going to talk about using them in your BESM game. So let's get right into it. Netoge no Yome, I'm going to talk about that one. So for this one, I would actually have your player design two characters. You start with the first one, which is your normal human world character. You're going to do everything. I've given up here how many points you're going to use on each character and what kind of skills you're going to use for each character, what skill lists for it. So first you make your human character, then you make your character in the net game. For that one, I would keep your character's mental and soul-based skills pretty much the same. Talk to your game master when you're choosing your skills. They're probably going to tell you which ones of the ones you chose as a human you should keep the same for your character that's online, because certain skills are going to travel over. If it's a mind-based one, you have the same mind as you do in the game as you do out of the game. And when we play the adventures, you're going to split between doing in real world and into the game world. Make it sort of lighthearted comedy sort of thing, more comedic situations. You can do that. You can actually bring away some of the comedy and just have it that they have this sort of normal life in real world where maybe comedic elements happen, where they're part of this computer club, and then they go into the virtual world and they do adventures there in an MMO-based game, and then you can just do sort of a fantasy game in that world. It would be a very interesting dynamic that you'd have to split between these two characters, and that things might happen that might affect you in the game world from the real world. You can deal with more game-based things, like, of course, hackers, like they did in the anime, people stealing your account, things like that that can be dangerous, or relationships in your anime when you don't know how people are in the real world. You can have it that you can start with everybody meeting up. You could keep them in the same sort of school or setting as the original characters, or you can make up your own school and just have it a very similar setting. It's up to you entirely. It's up to you if you want to use that your members of your people are part of the guild from the anime, or you could have your characters make up their own one that maybe they've been members of for a short time, and that you can start out with them meeting in real life. And it'd be, oh, you're all members of the same school, similar to the anime, but then it'd be their own set of characters and own set of people in this world. And they can then deal with the NPCs from the anime as much as you want or as little as you want. So next I want to talk about Seisen Cerberus. This one I would give characters 250 to 350 points. You're sort of going in between two sort of ranges of power. It's going to be up to you how you want to have your characters start out with. Now for this one, you're looking to have these people be more classic roles in adventures. They might be magic users, they might be sword users, weapon users, they might be something in between both of them. But you're going to look at more fantasy roles that they're going to be playing in this world. Same with races. They could take one of the they could be human, they could be one of the fantasy races that is templated in the book if you wish to, or you could discuss using something differently, some other kind of fantasy race with your game master and come up with something on your own, or something with their help. Now it's up to you how much you want your adventurers, now that you've made them, to deal with Dagon, Zot as much as you want, or not at all. They could just be put into this world where these three kingdoms are in tension and go on adventures. They could deal with monsters. They could deal with some of the politics. It's a world setting you can use, similar to the world settings in any other fantasy RPG, like Pathfinder or Dungeons & Dragons. They add in world settings. Dungeons & Dragons has Faerû. Pathfinder has Galarion. This world has Kunan. You can use this setting as the basis for putting your characters in, or if you really want to, you can have them be part of the anime. You could put them as part of Hero's team of adventurers, that they're members of that team, other people that are traveling with him. You know, you could just have it that they're on a similar adventure arc, that they're also going after Dagon Zot, and maybe you have to deal with them as NPCs or rivals. You can do anything you want with the anime and using the plot of the anime as much as you want, or as I said, you can just use the world they've established. Granted, they haven't put a whole lot of it, but you can check between the actual anime and the other source material for this series to come up with your own version of the world they describe if you really want to. Fantasy worlds are always fun to play in, and this one is just as good as the others. It seems to have a lot more interesting races and stuff too, with things like half-ogres and stuff, but again, it's up to you how you want to use them. It's your game. So last one I want to talk about is Usakame. Now to give 130 points, you're going to be human, you're going to be in high school, you're going to be members of the tennis club. That's the big thing you're going to be. Focus on tennis club activities and a little bit of light comedy. is basically like you're going to be running a sports game, but with some comedy elements. And you're also going to include some of their school life there, too. So when people make characters, have them make them be a little comical or a little bit ridiculous. You're going to want them to be in the tennis club. You're going to want them to have things like practice matches, maybe between each other, maybe practice matches with other schools. Make it that maybe they are the only members of the tennis club. Like in the anime, there's only 4 members of the tennis club. Maybe your characters are the only members going to be in the club, and therefore that's why you're going to be revolving around them, and that's why they're all some of these comedic situations, because it's a very small group of people. So integrate as much of their school life as possible if you want to. If you can come up with some sort of comedic ideas or little like silly things that can happen, make a storyline involving the school if that helps affect your characters, because the characters being part of the same club are also probably good. You should also make it they're all friends with each other to a degree, so that they can have these situations where they're getting along. They don't necessarily have to be the same grade or the same class. That's up to you how much you want to sort of compress the group together. And if you really wanted to, you can bring in situations from some of the other anime series, from the main one, Tekkyu, or the other spin-off that they had. You can bring those in as much as you want. You could have it that maybe your own high school, that you would be like having competitions with the normal Usakame ones, or you could have competitions from the girls from Tekkyu, that they would exist, and those girls would be really ridiculous and really hard to handle, but it would be, it would add to the comedic element of your game, because what you're trying to run is a sports comedy game, which can be done. Anyway, so it's the 3 series I want to talk about, and bringing them into your BESM world. I've given you some good tips and suggestions for bringing them in, and some ideas for integrating them into a BESM game. If you have any questions, comments, anything you think I left out, please leave it in the comments below. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. It shows your support for the channel and the Empire. Please subscribe if you already haven't already. That's another way of showing your support. We're always looking for more citizens, more members. Please share this video if you know anybody that would learn anything from it or would enjoy it themselves. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.